the past. We'll be loose from oppressions at last. How united we ever will stand for the welfare of all in this land. Hail hooray to our island, St. Andrew, Old Providence and Little St. Catherine. Soon your children will gain to each attainment every merit whichever receive. No more strangers will rule in our home. No injustice to cause us to roam. We have the help of the Almighty above, who shall lead us along in His love. Hail hooray to our island, St. Andrew, Old Providence and Little St. Catherine. Soon your children will gain to each attainment every merit whichever receive. No more evil on us shall befall. Soon there'll be peace and justice for all. We're together as one in God's might. To gain freedom we'll win every fight. Hail hooray to our island, St. Andrew, Old Providence and Little St. Catherine. Soon your children will gain to each attainment every merit whichever receive.
Yes, good morning. Uh, we're back here again in our next Friday program, the Voice of the Raizal Nation from the Raizal Council, Raizal Authority, sharing with you the situation and the of our territory and the life of these people on these islands. Uh, Last week we had a nice program and we want to say something briefly today from what we talked about last week, and we have a new topic for today. This morning I'm alone, and before we start, we want to just extend out there again sympathy and the announcement of our dear Miss Lovey, Joseph Britton de Castel, that passed away, mother for dear co-workers, Dr. Siegfried Castel, Miss Rosabel Castel, and Diane Castel. There will be a memorial service this Saturday, 4th of July at 4 p.m. at the First Seventh-day Adventist Church in St. Louis, San Andres Island. And as well, on the 6th of July, here in Providence, at the Central Seventh-day Adventist Church in Providence Island, a funeral service for her. We continue to pray and ask Almighty to give them strength and accompany them in these moments. We Last week we was touching the topic, trying to make some clarification on what we consider lies that was sitting around on the media, social media, in the moment of the election for the president of Colombia. The election went on, you have a new president elected, and we those hope and wish that things will really work out good. Um, we see that we have to continue giving space here on these media, communication media, to talk a certain type of things because, especially in this moment of modernity, of the advancement of technology, plenty affectation go on with the misinformation from all sides, and we need to hear from trustworthy sources, and that not those what we find there bombarding and bombarding the social media, and to not those simply swallow or take what we hear. So we are compromised and committed to continue this process of sharing information, serious information, trustworthy information through these our programs. We need a lot of education, indeed political education, in our level, from the schools come right back to adult ages. It's necessary. Very misinformed. The system in the country had for a good while take out the teaching of subject like history and geography, and the lack of also what we call critical thinking, that the students, people can really analyze deeply and be as the word say, critical, analytical in things that they read, that they're inquiring about. This morning, we want to start a new topic or topics, something that we wanted to touch from many weeks back, and it's the situation of the crisis, environmental crisis, especially on this the island of San Andres, and sanitary crisis as well. In past program, we talk about the overpopulation a lot, and what we consider, and majority of people here on the islands consider as the cause of so many of our problems that we are suffering today. But the island is in terrible bad state. We talk about the violence of in the island, the increased violence that we never accustomed to, wasn't part of our life and is not part of us, of our identity, the insecurity, something that is prioritized. But as well as the insecurity, the violence, as well as this, what we are talking this morning with the environmental and sanitary crisis, both of them have behind them a common cause, and is this unsustainable population that we have on the territory. In all sense, we have to they deal with the consequence, and unfortunately, authorities are not dealing with the cause to eradicate from the root, to find a real solution. It's like you got water they drop in the canoe, in the lunch, and you just they take and they dip out and dip out and dip out, and the pile of water continues dropping in. You're not, we have to find the roots of the problem. But we need to talk about this with the sanitary and environmental, because there is too much silence. went on, and lately the environmental corporation, what we call Coralina, is you send a request to the local government, to the gobernacion, to the governor, to the Secretary of Public Service, to the Secretary of Health, and asking or recommending again to declare the alerta amarilla in San Andres Island, because in every single sense, with the sewerage system, with the water service, with the garbage, the management of the solid waste garbage, everything is out of order. It is unsustainable. And we are those here, it gives the impression like this is the most dirty and nastiest place that you can see compared to other places there over there in Colombia. When we are not that, we are not that type of people. Our territory is gone to that situation. We see out there in the water that we are drinking is questionable how if we should be doing it, and everybody is those they're those selling the distribution of the water and the public service, or even those we have to even those that they sell in the back, what we call the botellones, then we have to see how healthy it is to be consuming them, because the source of water that we have in the island, which is the underground water, additionally to those that they're doing desalinization, is proved for years and today still is highly contaminated from the wrong management that is being on the island of the dirty sewage, both in the north part of the island, in the urban area, as well as the south, the rural area. There are contamination to the underground water. In the north part, the system is not proper. It constantly, daily, as everybody see, and as Carolina report recently, is out of order. It is running over. That is something you can say daily. We living amongst it in the north part of the island. We it going to the sea. It affect whoever be in there. It affect what we eat from out of the sea, the fishes and so as well. And this is something that coming from so long and no solution toward it. We the garbage, the solid waste, down there around at the so-called Magic Garden is out of control for years over years. Every little moment you hear that it reached to its limit of life, it's cycle. But still they keep extending and extending it every single year for the last I don't know how many years. It keep constantly catching a fire around here. Majority of the population are not aware of it, but the people them neighbors near to it know what it is. People there in Schoonarbeit, in Brooksville, Limbal, Green Hill, etc., around the area, know more what it is and the danger that we have there. So, and things continue like if it's normal. The government continue to act like if everything is normal. They continue issuing construction license even for huge hotels when the island cannot handle those the amount that it have. Worse, I can take anymore. It pass over the capacity. Things continue managing normal. They giving license or permitting houses over the whole island, just like nothing. This is a alert. We somehow become like with anesthesia. or indifferent to this that is not part of our culture, it's not part of our identity. We had a characteristic of Raizal people to be very cleansy. No matter if we are materially poor, we have as part of our cultural identity to be very cleansy, and we take care of what we have. We don't mess up with our water, with our sea, with our wells. It wasn't part of our identity. We had to see how this boom of overpopulation, both people that came and stayed, regularly, as well as the boom of the floating population, this massive tourism that is surplus, is those having us going constantly to a mess. The resources, the island can become to a point of no return. Just like a desert, we are done in a way, and no others are using it and exploiting it, just like a mine, a gold mine, especially through this massive tourism, and they don't care. Whenever it reaches to its point of no turn back, they pack up and they look at next place to exploit again. We are the one from whom that have to raise our voice and put a stop to this. We have people constantly with sickness, and we don't even have a serious research on the state to see what is really causing so many sickness. If we live in such a mess, in this system of mess, logically we want to get affected, and we want to affect the quality of life, the health, and no approach to it. It looked like the main goal of being here on the island, or the main goal of existence of the government, is just to make money, and make money for a few. When you sit down and you wonder how much people is benefiting of this, plenty will jump out and say all of us is getting benefit of tourism. Yes, can be. Some directly and some indirectly and some but we don't need all this excessive amount. That's a suicide. There is a limit on these islands, and we surpassed the limits long ago, long time ago. And it does continue. The system is those, and the money hug them is those after to broke those limits for higher and higher numbers. You hear they clap and celebrate when they have 1 million tourists for the year. No, is I think it gone over in following the last years them 1,300,000, and they keep clapping, celebrating, and figuring that it can make it come 2 million, whatever. They don't care, and plenty of our people fall in this situation of joining that celebration, why they are killing themselves, killing the territory, their resources. We don't need all that. The only one them getting benefit of it, you can count them by your hand. We're getting a huge benefit. You have a local business that you deal with tourists, you can have still the benefit without that excessive amount of tourists. You don't need that excessive amount. That excessive amount will kill your fountain of that you make a life of in the medium or short terms. So this is the consciousness that we want to say here to our people, and we expect that the people do a pass, a break, and can agree. We can agree as a people. When time the COVID, the pandemic hit the world and hit also our island, I remember how many people, including myself, feel good in part because we see the island rest, or something extraordinary had to come like that. to put the island to rest. There was another spirit moving over these sea, over these local islands. The island rest. It was calling for rest. The COVID forced to stop the coming of tourists and was a life of tranquility, was a moment because it need to rest. There are limits. And we need to rest too. So if something extraordinary don't come, like we are not able to react. Now that Coralina sent this recommendation out there, asking for the gobernación, we are going to share it here on the screen, asking the gobernación to declare the alerta amarilla. You have alerta amarilla, you have alerta, what's the next one? The naranja, orange, and alerta roja. I think this don't pass long time, the red alert. Those might be through diplomacy. The Environmental Office of Carolina don't want to accept that this is what we celebrate what they did in spite of it to call the governación again, call them because it's not the first time we understand that they are telling them in past years they telling the same thing to declare alerta amarilla on San Andres Island. But things does continue like nothing. So um, I wonder how much people out there know of this situation. Eh, we want to share here, give me a second here, the letter from Carolina. This is from this May 7th, this year 2026. And um, it's there very detailed in this letter to the gobernación asking to declare the alerta amarilla. He explained there the condition and the situation that the island is actually into. Eh, Things like the sewerage, the garbage, the water. With the garbage, for example, they have a so-called incinerator around there at the Magic Garden for years. Supposedly that would have solved the problem of the garbage. When you say the problem of the garbage, I wonder the people are not standing out there what we are talking about the problem. The problem of the garbage and only if you sweep the road and the truck pass there and take up the garbage and take it out of your site there in Tens and Louis Pan Hill already and make your place look clean. That is that is those might be a small part of the problem of the garbage. If you're right now they're saying that the process of taking up it is very not too efficient. But it's go farther than that. Is the management given to the garbage? You have a place round there in the island, round to the what round next to schooner by that this is not handled properly. As we said a while ago, it catch a fire constantly and it wasn't set up properly. The the what they call in Spanish the lixiviados that produces is going down to the earth. And all the affectation, the bad scent is going around. You might say you don't care because the garbage dump is far from where you are. Why do you get the garbage out of your site as your home if you live in Norton or somewhere else far away? But that is being sharp-minded, not understanding the system how it works. Look, once I remember some years, many years ago, we sent a letter to the government and the Coradina and others, alerting them that just analyze this with the garbage dump around there in Schoonabay. You had some gully that run come down from from off the hill, pass behind where the garbage dump, pass behind where the jail, how the jail right inside of the garbage dump. He pass there, he used to go behind the garbage dump. And he used to connect with a cage where we know we're from that area, and that cage come out to the sea. All a journey coming down, all a way coming down of the with the gully, the water running there, it get contaminated with all this dirty water that we tell you, we talk about the Lexiviados. Animal used to drink, used to raise cow around there. You understand? More than one cow died drinking from that water, that gully. And only cow. People farm around there, farm and sell them product. They raise cow, they sell them cow. Crab that come from all over the place when they are trying to watch their spam and walk down and pass through there and drink that, all those are causing or they get contaminated. You probably eat from bird kind, you don't know where it came from. You probably you crab, you don't know where the crab move freely. And that dirty water, as I tell you, pass through a cage and it come out round the next side next to the gas pump where they're around there. You go to the sea, the fish then get contaminated. The fish then get contaminated. So you don't feel yourself secure and on different and say, no, I happy while the garbage is take up from front of my house or my business and they send it somewhere else on the out of my man, you can be eating back your garbage and more than your garbage with the accumulation of toxic and nastiness that penetrate the soil, the underground water. You can drink back the same water. You can bathe with the same water. So don't be so sure that you are out of danger. You can be eating crab, bread kind, fish on your table, you and your family, and selling it in your business, and it is contaminated. Because this place is just a total mess. I'm talking about the affectation causing from the garbage dump around there that transcend the neighborhood. It's not only them who live near, but they suffer with the scent, with the bad scent, the pile of animals and rat and fly and the burning when they catch a fire, all this contamination to them. It's not only them, it's everybody, even the tourists them. It getting back because this is a system. Nature is a system. That's the situation in the garbage dump. And the so-called incinerator that set there from 2011 and have 15 years is a total elefante blanco. Thousands of millions of pesos spent there and continue to spend there, not in the past government them, as continue the elefante blanco, this corruption is not working. And it never built to work really. It was just a act of corruption. And it's still right there. No garbage. And if you burn any garbage, might be it gets free. No, I create no electricity. The electricity we create, sorry, let's say create, the electricity we do create, might be have to put on the bulb them around there. The bulb them and get some of them have. No further than there. No electricity for you nor me nor no. That was a simple elefante blanco. 15 years. We understand this first part of the year around January, they start to put it on for a short little moment. But moreover, that must be obsolete. 15 years. So that is not serving if you have your mind on that figuring and other office here of the government, of the authority, the environmental authority like the Procuraduría Ambiental, insist figure that will be a solution. That incinerator is no solution for us. No solution for us. So the problem of the garbage is there, growing and growing every day. If you come to the island over there moving over there in the plane, you see how that place is just growing and growing and growing without no limit. That's the problem of the garbage, the sanitary, the environmental problem that we have on our hands. Is that time bomb? It be saying for decades that is a time bomb, but nothing is being done. To the contrary, and when government raise up was to when the government, specifically government of Dr. Ralph Newell, raise up was to put a stop to that. Supporting and giving right to the people, the neighbors, them of that garbage dump that was protesting, the system take him down off of the seat. For that another reason. And to the day, and he was Dr. Ralph government, we're talking about the year 2002. 2000, 2002 he was there. And in that year, 2002, they take him off of the, retire him from there abusefully when a solution was trying to put to the garbage in the island. And the problem continue 2002 within 2026, 24-year pass, and it's thus constantly and daily increasing the problem. And we're living in it. We're living in it like nothing. You got the sewerage system, for example. All that mess of all the septic, them of all these hotels, pile of houses, building in Northern, in the urban area that connect to the sewerage system, all that is ending in the sea, passing through the so-called emissario submarino, that we don't feel like it is doing any much effect. Now, today, in the report from Carolina, in the one I'm telling you about what they call Alerta Maria, they give us a reason there. Something that we were saying all these years when Dana was installing the emissario submarino, and they never have it connected to no system to treat the mess, the septic mess, the sewage. But they just passing it through. And the argument was that due the emisario, the design is, like some tube that run far out to the sea and go down deep. And the argument that all those nasty water will be treated by the pressure of the ocean when it goes down so deep. And that people should be just being in tranquility that everything will be okay. That don't happen. That don't happen. Today I want to share the report from Carolina. Let me see. I don't see it coming out here. Right. Probably the flyer is over it. I might have to okay. So here, this is the letter that I'm telling you about from Carolina from the 7th of May that they sent to the Gobernación, where they asked to declare the Alerta Maria. And it went, it referred to the Secretary of Government in charge here, I think the governor was, and the Secretary of Gestión de Riesgos y Desastres, the Secretary of Public Service and Environment. And he explained, I want to try search for a part where they asked to. I'm referring here to the planta, the emisario submarino, where I want to show you that really this thing is not solving anything. All the mess that go to the sea is messing up us. Let me see if I find it. Okay, see here. Away down on the page number 11. You have one. This must be part of the recommendation. A la Secretaría de Servicios Públicos. Wait, I'm not. Okay, sorry, I am not showing. Let me go down on the 11. It says here. A la Secretaría de Servicios Públicos y Medio Ambiente realizar las gestiones y adelantar los estudios y obras correspondientes para la instalación de una planta de tratamiento de aguas residuales como tratamiento previo a la disposición y descarga en el emisario submarino. This is what we was telling you about. That means to say that what we was saying all these years, that the emisario submarino by itself, and that is installed from around, I think, around 2007. I don't remember what was year, but it's over nearly 20 years this thing installed here. And we was saying that you really it would need a plant to treat this word before go to the sea, go to the emissario. And here in the letter of Coralina to the Gobernación is saying it. It's saying it, recommending to get installed a planta de tratamiento de aguas residuales. I remember I was in Coralina Directive Board in 1995, more or less, 96. And I remember in the local government did buy a plant. It never comply with the requirement of the environmental office, Coralina. Of you got some requirement of how much it should take out the contamination of the sewage before it pass it to the sea or pass it somewhere else. And that plant still right there. Many of them might be. It was right around there by Morris Landing. You could see it right to the roadside, and it's still right there and rotten to nothing, gone to nothing. And after that was when, both in 2007, or approximately, they come around with the Emisario Submarino, which is basically like some tube to carry the sewage out there to the ocean. And we are living in the mess. That not solving. It need a plan along with the Emisario. That's what the letter here said, and what we show you. So this is what we are living into, a total mess. And this letter from the government and telling the government to they recommend them to declare the alerta Maria for the island. The people and we all need to press toward this. We need to press toward this because we are losing this or land or home through the greediness and the lack of action or responsibility of people placed in power, in authority. This is the future. Somebody mentioned, and we are not diminishing the importance of security. Yeah, you can put out there 100 soul or 1,000,000 soldier, 1,000,000 police and say, oh, try. But this not gonna future. They don't got nothing to take care of because everybody want to go from here. It will be a desert. So if you fit rearrange priority, this for sure come first. We are playing irresponsible with the future of the island. This is the home. We are playing with the home. This place no got no future with Hoi. It's probably the nastiest place I can say. And the place that they sell for, touristical where some money hag are those exploiting our territory, don't care to understand that this place have limit, and those in power don't care or don't doing anything to set limits. You have to set limits. You need to set limits. Your home, you got a house, and your house have a capacity. You have you who live there, you build it usually for who the amount of owner that live there in the house, wife, husband, children, whatever, and others. And you can't take any amount of people as you care. And so with that comparison with the house, the same thing with the island. The island have limits. We should set the limit. And others that don't care to set limits because they are those living happy-go-lucky, enjoying the millions, they are money hogs, and they care for nothing else. But what about the vast majority of the people? Anytime these people accumulate sufficient riches, but no matter if this place end up to a desert and everybody have to abandon it. They can abandon it, they have sufficient money to go and set up hotel somewhere else again. We have to set the limits. and we have to press to set the limits. In the past, when he make protests, many of time those protests was through this type of thing. We see our island and we feed for our islands. Today, the is people say that you not easily see the massive protests out there on the road anymore. Some say because the people are tired. Some say the people those indifferent. Some say they lost trust. They don't see anything positive and they go protest. You have many answer and excuse, but whatever it is, we need to manifest ourselves. We seek to do things through paperwork, uh, requesting things to government and authorities, and we can do that part, and we will continue to do that part. But massively as a people, we have to think to get back out there and put a stop to this. Those make a break. Those make a break and put a stop. In the 90s, for example, our leader, they see things like this movement, like the SOS movement, they put in a tutela, an injunction, and was calling and demanding that this place never have the capacity to take all this stress. It didn't have sewage system, a good coverage of sewage system, nor water service, nor proper management of the garbage. And they put a tutela on the SOS movement, their members, the leaders, win the tutela. And the Constitutional Court gave them the right and support that on this island, all construction was to stop. The government wasn't to give out any more license to construct anything except what they call in Spanish the viviendas de interés social, which is like a house for personal use for a dwelling, not extravagant. Plus, an next exception that the court, the constitutional court said that they could permit to build would be a public infrastructure, hospitals, schools, and so on. But all those non-hotel, now no commercial building was permitted when that tutela come out. The press, majority of the press, the radio, so-called radio, um, the journalists here that they have in the island those time, they attack the SOS and their members. They stigmatize them that they are those against the development and progress of the island, and what show they stop the hotels and how things were coming good. All these nice hotels that was built by the cartel, the Cali and other people that come out here, so-called investors, and building and buying land, and they condemn the SOS and their members. We remember that. They stigmatize them like fundamentalists, radical, they don't welcome development, they don't welcome progress. Today, we're back again in a situation like that. And worse, let me tell you, never got 300,000 tourists that come to the island in the 1990s. If you had 200,000, it was plenty for the year. Today, you got 1,300,000. A pile. And the situation is, as in the 90s, worse. So you can see who are against the real future of we, the Raizal people, and the people them here on the island and our home. They defend, they pocket, they defend others, but they don't see the welfare of we, the people from these islands. So we hope you there who are listening to us don't be like those that condemn when somebody are trying to those illustrate that this thing need to be put a stop. We have to moderate. We have to set limits. It can't take that amount of pressure. For that reason, it has been called in all these years to make a population carrying capacity for the islands, to establish precisely those limits. we have to establish the limits. The Raizal Authority will do that because we cannot sit and confident and wait anymore for the a colonial government to do it. It is sufficient time passed and they haven't do it. And we expect the support of the people and the consciousness of the people. Don't be manipulated and think that we are against progress. What is progress? Progress for who? Progress for who? What is development? You think a bunch of building and buying out the land and building over the place and building high any amount of floor of hotel, you think that is synonym of progress, of development? Eating mess and eating, I don't want to say the word, you know, that is progress. That is a robbery of your progress, of your tranquility, of your quality of life. That is the social crisis that we have in on the island. All the public service collapse. Getting back to this injunction that we was mentioning from the 1990 and the 1995 more or less, that the SOS did put in and that was able to stop the construction. That injunction, I tell you, remained for many years. In all those years that it remained, it was people was attacked in it like many construct constructors, engineer, some architects, not all, some engineers, some architects, some people that work logically because it affect that's their work, that's their profession, and they didn't have that boom and that big pile of work, but it was necessary. Journalists was attacking it. The same government, the local government was attacking the SOS leaders then. Not talk about the business people and these people that so-called investors were around here. Everybody was attacking. Somehow they lift up that restriction from the tutela in some moment around 2000, 2000 what? 2000, I calculate about 2007, I don't remember good. And what was the argument to lift up and start to build again like nothing? The tutela said that that restriction that the government had that they couldn't get any more construction license or permit any more construction should remain until the island have the appropriate system of public service, sewerage, water, and management of garbage. That was the condition that the restriction was to remain until that comply. He not comply. This report that we have here from Carolina is telling you that everything is not comply. It's nearly daily the sewage running over in the town, in the urban area. The pile, the south part of the island, the rural part that are not connected to the sewage system, everybody does set up their own septic hole, or we call it. Some take good care if you manage it. Some don't do any type of care. They only make it go direct to the side, penetrate, go to the same water that they drinking and they send around the world, the island. So we don't have up to now we haven't complied with the requirement of the constitutional court was to restrict the construction on the island. But the restriction was lifted up from around 20 years back. And those building, the amount of hotels and construction that went on in all these last years, just like this place is normal. We through a RDC, the Raizal Development Center, in 2023, we wrote to the Tribunal de Cartagena. Why the Tribunal de Cartagena? Is because we wanted to revive back or put to reconsideration that injunction from the SOS from 1995 that was alerting looking to start spreading of contamination. So we sent when the SOS did put in that tutela 1995, The island didn't have a tribunal, yeah, in that time. So anything like that would have to send to outside of the island, like the Tribunal de Cartagena. So that injunction went through the Tribunal de Cartagena, the one that restrict the construction. Then it went to the Constitutional Court after, no? So that's why in 2023 we sent a letter to the Tribunal de Cartagena to ask them to reconsider and to tell them to analyze carefully because something is not right here. That injunction and that restriction on the construction should never lift up. And it lift up 120 years and we are boom in this mess in the island. And a tribunal in Cartagena attend our request from the Raizal Development Center and they start to send letter to the gobernación in the last part of 2023, around November or December, send letter to the governor, asking them what about this restriction and this situation from the court, from that tribunal of Cartagena for 1995. What about how things coming? How you are coming? How you coming complying with the request that we have there to set up a real sewerage system and a system, real good system of water and garbage. How no coming? The tribunal send the letter asking them. Last part of 2023 after we send our letter to the tribunal. And every month, nearly every month, well, they send copy to us, to RDC, the Raizal Development Center, the tribunal send copy to us every time they write the gobernación asking them about the injunction of the SOS. Every month, up to now. And 2024 come, they still ask them how things coming. The government start to send some report like if things is good. They are doing some work there in around there in that part of the island, and it's looking work here, they're spending a pile of million, but none real solution. But they confound the tribunal. Every month they defend and try to justify that they are working and working. And every month the tribunal sending and sending and sending. The tribunal lift up or open up what they call an incidente de or desacato por cumplimiento, something like that, against the gobernación, and they're requesting every month to answer and telling them how things going. 2024 gone through every month, then they ask them. 2025, same thing. From 2025, I think is about in May, they know they get no answer from the gobernación. But the Tribunal de Cartagena tribunal still send letter monthly, and they going for around 15 months that they know the answer, the gobernación know the answer. That's what we understand from the tribunal. That's what we understand. Because they send copy to us and they saying this is the 15 insistency to get information for UNO. That's what we understand. Or if them sending, they are not sending what they expect and want from the gobernación. The time had come. The tribunal shouldn't wait anymore to act. And locally, we shouldn't wait anymore to act. There is a stop that have to be placed here if we want to continue live on this place, on this island. The crisis is very severe. Very severe. We will try and seek to have we know the government right now in charge. It will be there those, I think, scarcely 1 month. They have all the problem of the island, and we are not attacking this government in charge. We are describing something that coming for over 30 years. Over 30 years. We are describing it. This 1 month that the governor in charge will be there is so much problem. She's needs few days to step up. But we are still, and we alert, we send a letter to the governor also, because we are in the responsibility to let she know. She will know much of these things does reach there in a short of a time with so much thing to tend to. So we send a letter to this governor also in charge. We know the time is short, but still, and we believe she will be there for a longer period of time. For sure, you will take action toward it. If we really like our home, we have to put a stop. This exploitation of our territory and messing up our life on our home have to stop. So we will approach in again the tribunal at Cartagena also and let them know what is really happening here on the island. That nothing is better. To the contrary, and we will have the proof here with this letter from Coralina from last month to the gobernación, telling them to declare their left arm again. We welcome, we have 4 minutes left before our radio listeners from that are connected with us through the internet radio from Good News. Anyone like to participate? You know, always we are here pending for you. The listener, the radio listener, the company usually until 9 a.m. and then they go off. We continue the program through our broadcast or streaming through our channels in YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. So you can continue hear us through there. Those start through internet, through your search on your, if you want to follow us on YouTube, those search our Raizal Development Center. And you will find us there, or Facebook also, search for Raizal Development Center if you want to continue tuning with us through the social media. This is our alert to our people this morning around this situation, environmental and sanitary situation in our island. We're not too good and we don't merit this. We have to make a break. We have to make a break and see what we do with this problem. All right, let's put on that musical that video for a while. We have a break. If you find it there. All right.
Raizal people, it's time for the uprising. Let us rise and shine.
When things go wrong, as they sometimes will, when you feel like giving up, as you try to bother him,
when you feel like smiling, but your heart feels so trill, yeah. Don't give up, rest if you will, but keep your unbroken will, yeah.
like the sun, the moon, and the stars in the sky. Again and again, lift your head high. So please, don't you cry. Tell Jah, He will satisfy.
Once again, me say rise, I shall rise. When no have time to cry, everything will be fine. When we stand strong, it's time to move on. Where I could reach to the stars, to the moon, to the sun.
This is something me want to know fi understand. Raizal people give thanks to the Almighty One. Cause all of the grown are singing song. Rise and shine, so shall sing in a this a song.
Rise and shine.
Where there is land, there will be hope. Holding on, on joy, that is for sure. Standing up strong, I reach for your goal. Let us all unite with one heart and soul.
One day our hearts will no more be poor. All the pain and suffering rise up, it will surely work. The day we come together and stand up with determination, then Raizal nation will shout out for liberation.
To take back the territory. Cause this land that we fight the free, our being free the chains and bandage economy.
Far away from home, but still worry about their own. Never strangle the people nice. Therefore, it had to run.
Waiting for it, diaspora, free the island in the sun. Rise and shine out the Raizal, all ye daughters and sons, yeah.
And again, it will be nice. Do not yourself minimize. Sense of belonging must be sky high. Stand up strong, Raizal, where the sun of the sky.
Leave the high nights of terror and fear. Just remember Jah come when the morning clear. Pray Jah and put your hand up in the air. In Jah hand everything gone clear.
Wake up and live, Raizal, we soon clear the hill. If we stick together still, no way they could break our will. It's time to be great again. Arise and shine. Wake up and live. Booyaka, sayaka, mayaka. To free oneself from this corruption. So there will be no more pollution from colonizer, barbaration. In the name of the creator of creation.
Okay. We are back. Thank you for that break there and that musical that inspire us and give us a sense of hope for a better tomorrow. We can do better. We should rise again. Let's start rounding up around this situation that we sharing this morning about the environmental crisis and the sanitary crisis of the island, the delicate situation that we are into, we are facing. One thing we can go concluding, we need a carrying capacity model to follow. We have to set limits on the island, limits on the amount of people that can live on this place, resident, and limits of the amount of tourists that this place can take. Those are one thing, and who have to do that? The next thing, we have to think on manifest ourselves on different ways, on demonstrate really that we concern and that this thing is really in an emergency state. We have to think on that. And don't be it on different when we call for your support in this. Individually, we can do things as well with the proper management of what we be responsible with our local part in the way we manage solid waste and waste. We if we know or we are conscious, we should do something responsible. The government have to do, the local government have to do, take the action also. We have to recognize, we notice and people are saying, and the the activities then that the local government is having lately is through this governor in charge, we guess, cleaning. So this morning I passed along there by the Cove Seaside, the mangroves them out there at the Cove Seaside. And we saw them cleaning there. We understand they're cleaning at that area of the land, and we really celebrate that concern and that they do that. We have to look now for ways that are sustainable and have really strong authority to keep the island clean from individuals, from tourists, from the companies them that should do their work, from business, because it's unsustainable. If you want to spend pile of money and time, hours, and human resource, and next week it did the same way again, well, they don't. It's not a real effective solution. We celebrate what they are doing right now, and we encourage the government to take steps to be very strict and to sanction people that are messing up this place. Individuals, tourists, companies, etc. Because it wouldn't be, hold up. I want to share here on the screen this affair with the I was talking about with the garbage around at the so-called Magic Garden. This thing is working, it's here for over 35 years. I believe 40 years now, because I think it was in 1985 or something around there that gave us 15 and 26, 41 years more or less. Or nearly 40 years that this is functioning. It passed. You see the size of that garbage, so because we are not living or acting wisely as a people, as a society, as a government. We are not recycling, we are not reusing, we don't have no type of law. We think that this place can stand any amount. Everybody does you responsible. You buy what you want, you dispose what you want, because you don't know, so there is somewhere about there in the on the island where all your mess will reach. This thing is growing. People from Schooner Bight, from Brookfield, Limbal, know more than anybody else what this means. It is stepping up nearer and nearer to them. Over 150 million tons of garbage accumulated there. 7 hectares occupied. They keep that those land was I raised up around there. Remember they had key and peace. We lived so happy around that place when that never existed there. We passed much of our young days in the bush, sitting down there, eating cane when they're squeezing cane. We go and look mango, we go around there, all type of catch crab, etc. All that gone. They call it a relleno sanitario, but it's not really a relleno sanitario. It was a botadero a cielo abierto. It wasn't adequate properly to be a relleno sanitario. That's the reason why it keep catching a fire every year, every local moment. If it was really a relleno sanitario and set up the right way, that wouldn't be happening. Yeah. All the lixiviados, the dirty water that is farm are penetrating the soil. They don't have it really protected the right way. You might see it mentioned here. Desbordes de material, derrames de lixiviados, de incendio. This presentation that I'm sharing with you here is our international organization make this analysis. I have been in contact with this organization from 2011 when they will start to build the incinerator. He named Guy. Global Alliance for Incinerator Alternative. People over the world, this international organization that are against incinerating and burning the garbage. There are more wiser ways to manage solid waste and that are sustainable. This is not sustainable how they are doing things here. So they even calculate, getting back to this so-called magic garden, the Botadero a Cielo Abierto, that it would have capacity only until 2019. We are in 2026. I saw the letter from Coralina from last month to the governation, and they are talking about that they have, I don't know if I read good, but I think, as what I understand, that they have 17 months more. Every look we hear, they're extending the life and the life of something. I don't know if it's because they're keeping buying and buying lands and extending, they're converting the whole part of the island into a garbage dump. That is not intelligent that we have managing the garbage. So that's the situation we have around here with this magic garden. It is not sustainable. By the way, something very interesting I read on the letter from the what we share a while here from Coralina to the governation. They say that the way I think was catch a fire. Yeah, I think so. I'm sure right later again. And that they stopped Coralina from Ghanina the place. They stopped them. They you have to laugh here. These people, that company around here, I don't know which company, I think it's Interacio, I don't know, I want to make mistake. Whoever is managing that garbage place around there, not who transport the garbage, they have a next organization there, or company that do the management of the garbage at that site. And that they stop the Coralina functionaries from stepping at the place. What they have to hide? I remember one time they sent policemen us. In the 90s, we was in there filming. We had an organization by the name of Saisola, and we get in there and through the back. Got film because it was like a mystery. I don't want nobody to go in there. I thought about 1990, yeah. And today, this same year, 2026, in Carolina saying there in their letter that they stopped them from going in. Carolina is who give this company license to do what they are doing there. They had to get a license from Carolina to for certain things in it. And then give the license, and well, logically in the license, they must make the understand that them Carolina have to make some periodical control, or do control periodical or at any moment, and they stop these people from going at the place. You see who we are? So something is going on down there. This is a so-called incinerator, what they call the planta RSU. Ya, dice el primer incinerador de residuos construido en the LSC must be Latin America and the Caribbean, I guess. You see, we become like some rat in lab. We experiment with. We in this on this island, on this biosphere reserve of the UNESCO of the world, become an experiment with this mess, the so-called incinerator that they claim to say was the latest and the most modern and whatever. And would that be the first one in Colombia? And here these people are saying that it's the first one in the region. It was constructed there around 2010 and 2012. Yeah, with a contract they made with Sopesa. An investment of over $12 million. That was the first part of this. Afterward, they get a lot of money in the following government after 2012. Over and over again, money saying that they try to get it to work. Can't work yet. Let's hope it don't work because I want to finish kill you. That thing is not, as they claim to say. We don't believe it is taking out the contamination when the local smoke that come out and go. We consider, as we research, that if it's not, it will carry out some extreme toxic material that are among the most toxic material that exists in the world that those incinerators produce, and that cause cancer and many other sickness. And that through the smoke, it will spread around the whole island. It won't be just the schooner bite and and them as said you want spread around all over the place. Drop on the trees, them drop the animals, they consume it. The fish when they drop on the sea because this type of toxic material characterized to be bioaccumulative. So you don't believe it, you want a little bit drop there and you not do no harm and it will disappear. No, it not disappear. It's bioaccumulative. It go in the sum and they accumulate and they make that damage on the trees, on the plants, on the fruits, on the animals in the sea, on the fish, on you, on we. So this something so-called incinerator say have a capacity for 52 tons daily, and that it will generate a certain amount of energy. I tell you, say the energy that one produce is case you can put on the bulb them in the office around the dump, around the garbage dump. Those are total elefante blanco. So that is what we have and we living with here in the island. Millions of money spent irresponsible and have us in this mess. Here, this international organization are questioning here is la inexplicable aprobación de un proyecto inviable. Yeah. I did send information to these people in 2011, I think, this organization, because they have office in America, they have one in New York, and they have one here in Chile, and I sent it. And they tell me that I was making a mistake, that the information I received, I mean, said that can't be your incinerator for your city. He said that look like an incinerator for a fabrica. Yeah. So this same organization, nearly 15 years after, take up the case of San Andres and are analyzing the whole situation of the garbage and the incinerator here in San Andres. He say they don't understand why they approve a project like this. You know, he talk about offices in the government like the Secretaría del Medio Ambiente, the same Ministerio de Minas y Energía who gave the money initially, yeah, that never even check or then check and pay the fool that the waste that they have in the island wouldn't comply with the characteristics for the operation and to do the previous preparation of this thing where they're born with that include to separate, to dry, and then to grind up. You see, I remember when they were making this so-called consulta previa, prior consultation around this with garbage, with incinerator, they tell a lie to the people. Right? We was trying to tell the people that they was lying them, but they believed, I believe much believe those and believe what we were saying to them. They were telling that they want to disappear the mountain of garbage around that place around there. All that when going into the incinerator and we have a nice, like when those disappear like magic, all the garbage. That was a lie. And we tell them say that was no lie because what going at a machine have to separate. You can't just throw the things them indiscriminately mix up there. And nobody never go separate those garbage that was there for decades in a mess. That was lie. And see here, this international organization is telling here to us when they make this analysis. Yeah, this is not so long. This report from this international organization. Yeah. And the same Contraloria know that wasn't I think they were good and they are running it good. They make the look timid report, but nothing deeply, and permit the things to continue going on. Yeah.
Hi guys, it's so
This is propaganda here. Let me go back here till this pass off. Uh, yeah. So this is what we have. Yeah. And here this organization, this international organization, GAIA, is telling us here how they keep trying to solve the problem and creating another problem. I had passed 10 years since they built this plant, and eh, that call for the state, the government keep the pass money to them to subsidize this plan. When it's not working, I know I work. 15 years pass. This international organization is explaining this to us. They make analysis not only technical, but they make analysis the economical and social and other aspect of this plant around here. What was the solution that we was? They here mention a pile of money that this place received from all these years and how he gone through. Even in 2021, I think this have to be Duque come install or do an inauguration of the next part of the plan that they set up there additional to the RSU that they call it say the supposed to make some tests 2021. This is more or less the process we're going through. Yeah. So that thing, what we were suggesting, here they mention how constantly it keep burning. See here, incendio en basurero de San Andrés afecta 125. That is constant, right? Sometimes the majority of the people in the island don't even know that around they burn. Only them who live near when they know the hell that place is. Yeah. I was saying that what we did suggest at that time when they come around with the incinerator, there is something in the world they call zero waste, basura cero. Yeah. Means no garbage, no, you don't have garbage moving around. You're moving, the garbage is there, yeah. But you move it in an intelligent and wise way, in a cyclical manner, okay? And you have policies around what type of thing you permit to enter in the island, and if you enter, how you should be come back out. You see, the people then that sell things can't think, or who consume things can't think. You just consume and you throw there and you don't know. It have to be a cycle. If it don't be a cycle, you will see that mountain of garbage growing and growing and growing because we are not acting intelligently. Zero waste was what we proposing all the time. Zero waste include recycling, but not only recycling. When you separate from the source, from your home, from the hotels, from the building, from the store, separate the things. And the government and the company that take up the garbage and the company that receive the garbage, everybody had to be synchronized, articulated, and we do that. And that's not hard to be done. People keep insist, and I don't know if it's me the problem that I can't see, but that's not easy. I don't see what's the hard, the difficult there. If you can do your local part home and in your business, we separate. I do it for years, and still we do it. But when you put it on the road, it's a waste work for you because the company not synchronize, not harmonize, not articulate, and they just take it and throw it together. When time, if we was working in order, all of us, it would have reached around there already classified. And not that they want to receive the thousands of tons and when things that they want to classify when it reach around there. So this is more or less one of these programs going to go down deeper, explaining what is this zero waste. Okay? It's not only recycling, it's policies that the same departmental assembly can take out policies, Coralina can, we're not take out some, but the enforcement of it is very sad, to make it comply with it. So that's the topic for today. We shared it with you and we share some solution and step that really need to be taken at this moment in the island to stop this crisis, this sanitary and this environmental crisis. We will try to have in the next program some people from the authority to see what they are thinking, what they are doing, and we hope that the governor in charge will have more time to continue what she's doing there. good work, but they need to go further. We are pleased to see the good intention, and we know if we have a chance to sit with her that we are dealing with the problem for decades, we can help. We can help show them and help them to see ways to act more effectively and from root. We want to thank you for listening to us today and be here. We hope to see you again next week, Friday, in the next emission of this your program, The Vice of the Raizal Nation. Have a good weekend, and we go we go further for the betterment of our life and of this our territory. Thank you.
My impression about the Raizal Self-Determination School is that it is very interesting, it is worthwhile, and things like this have to continue go on because it's a way for us as Native Islanders to identify ourselves and understand that we are a special people, we are a unique people, and we got a lot of particularities that define us now.
And I just want to give a testimony about Rise and Determination School. Now, I've been to many of the meetings that took place, and I want to encourage congratulations and encourage them to keep on, and because I learned a lot in those meetings that I didn't know, and come together with other brothers. And also I want this to encourage the people that we should pass it on to our kids, and I should keep up the good work. We have to get back our identity, and that means we have to know our history.
The Raizal School self-determination training, it is a need of the Raizal people to know about themselves, their parents, their history, and the possibility that the future might be offering to them, and how they should embrace the opportunity of learning about ourselves.
It is very important because our children, our youth really need to know about our history, our background. And it's a way that you can get to the community, especially the young people, showing them and teaching them in the right way.
First of all, everybody should know self-determination is a right that all human beings have to make their own choices and decide on their future. Unfortunately, our people don't know much about it, don't know it's a right, and don't know how to claim that right.
The Raizal Determination School Training Center is very important today because of one factor. The people need to learn and to be informed of who we are, what we were in the past, and what we can become in the day of tomorrow. Go back to our roots. It means to say that we need to learn how to fish, we need to learn how to plant, we need to learn our history, and we need to develop ourselves. Therefore, we need to have a new vision in this new area of how to become a people and a growing people with self-determination and governance.
Well, I believe that's a really good thing for the Native community. The spread of knowledge and information of how any institution or government with the Raizal, they try to make, such as the Raizal Authority, that's something we want to empower all of it. So it's really necessary, essential for everybody.
I think the Raizal Self-Determination School is one space where permit we as Raizal to know our story, to know how we structure and how we can get to empower ourselves as community. It permit me to go and get the little knowledge them where as in a net space like what is the school, normal school in a community, or the government, or them next area where you should get them here knowledge by you no get it.
La escuela de autodeterminación Raizal es algo importante para nosotros los raizales. Hay muchas cosas que no conocemos hasta ahora. Yo ya con la edad que tengo apenas vengo a enterarme de algunas cosas. Esto debería ser más dirigido también a la juventud, a los niños, para que conozcan sus derechos, para que mucha gente sabe que hay derechos, pero no saben cuáles son, cuáles son los derechos de los raizales. La gente no conoce eso. Entonces, para eso es bueno esta escuela y bueno, debe continuar y debe multiplicarse hacia los colegios.
It's very important to the community and assist at the class them where Jairo Rodriguez gave about the Raizal community. Is good, you learn a lot of things.
We just want to express our gratitude because we had been invited and participating in the program that the Raizal Development Center had, where we carry the children them to participate, and it's something really important that I consider the good for the children because it helps them to build up in the identity as Raizal children.